that's one transmission, too many bits, and one M111. All finally home. What a job. I'm going to take 5 minutes and then get back to it. Right, so here we are. I've finally got it all mounted up on the engine stand. This took a fair bit in itself, trying to find the bolts that I needed just to go through here. I'm out of breath because I've only just done it, yeah, all in place, mounted, ready to go at last. Right then, shall we see what hides beneath? This is my first time seeing, saw from the time lapse. So we'll see whether there's been any oil starvation in the top end of this engine. I have seen it before. I've also seen chipped cam lobes on the earlier M111s. So let's just see what's hiding beneath. Not bad actually, not too bad. I mean, to be fair, there's some odd bits of stuff that are just stuck to this from standing, but wow. In a minute I'll bring you guys in here and you can see what I'm seeing, but there's hardly any wear on these cam lobes. This engine up here looks really, really good. Now, we've obviously got some polishing on these edges, but in terms of any score marks or anything, up here looks really healthy and looks very typical of what you'd expect to see. Now, when you saw me tapping around the edge with a normal metal hammer to get the valve cover off, do not do that. If that's your only valve cover, do not do that. Use a rubber mallet. You should always use a rubber mallet and pry gently. Do not ever pry between the mating surfaces. I only use that little hammer because I have got literally a pile of those valve covers, and I'm also not going to be using that style anyway because I want everything to be nice and neat and uniform looking on the engine when I've done. The only reason the breather port is on this side of the engine was because it's recirculated into the supercharger system. Right, so here we are. See what I mean about hardly any wear? So on these two, you can see the polishing. So obviously this is typical, it's not totally normal because it's pushing on the buckets themselves. Like, in terms of condition of these, they are extremely clean. And that is the same story across the board. Like, you can obviously see there's like bits of corrosion that just flaked off onto there. But yeah, this is fantastic condition. That's what you want to see when you take your valve cover off. Now, what I was on about earlier was like on like this corner of this camshaft, I've actually seen them chip off literally chunks of the camshaft. Now, it doesn't necessarily affect operation, but it's not what you want to see, and it's not ideal to have a cam load spinning around with a chunk of it missing, because not only is it a minor imbalance, obviously there's going to be edges on that. Edges wear stuff quicker, so obviously it's going to wear into your hydraulic lifters, and it's just not what you want. Obviously you want your cam loads to be complete in any case. So the next thing I'm probably going to do is basically how to lock the cams, which is very simple to see. Here you've got that hole and that hole, and we want to rotate the camshafts until I believe it's that hole lines up with that hole, and then you can shove like an 8mm drill bit through it. Right, so this will mark the start of this project, and hopefully making quite an interesting engine from an interesting concoction of parts. So there's a couple of subtle things that I'm going to be changing. That's the dual crank pulley. I'll be changing to a NA single pulley. There's no point having that extra weight hanging off the front of the crank. I've not decided what intake plenum I'm using yet. I'd like to use a forward facing one, but that's as funds allow. Aircon pump, that'll be gone. I'm not sure what car this would be going in. I'm not entirely sure of any of that just yet. What I want to get started first is the engine build and make sure that it will work. I want to make a reliable torque biased engine, so rather than going for the moon with horsepower, I just want an engine that makes plenty of torque reliably and a decent amount of horsepower. There's no point shooting for the moon. It's a 4-cylinder old engine from the 90s, and let's face it, with what I'm putting in it, it might not even work, but I'm going to give it a go. It's an interesting mix using a diesel crankshaft, BMW com rods, a great MLS head gasket from Stone Garage, block shims, and forgive me, I will update in the description where you can find all the parts that I've found, but that might take me a little while. The block shims came from a Eastern European chap, I believe. Fantastic, so I can strengthen up the block when needed. There's going to be quite a lot to do on this, obviously, because it's a full engine rebuild and there's machining involved in that, so it's going to be good fun. What I will try and do, if I can, is again do little side videos as I'm going through it of common things that I get asked, so it can help people if they just want to watch a 2 or 3 minute video rather than have to go back and watch a full video on something they're not interested in. A lot of people do leave these cars standard, so what's the point in watching some guy build a turbo engine just to find out how you lock your camshafts or something simple like that? So that's why some of the content gets repeated on the channel, because different people are looking for different things. A lot of you subscribe for the turbo content because there's not a lot of information out there for them, and I'm happy to share it. Also, in like this case, this is an experiment. It might not work. I'm praying that it does, because it would be awesome if it does, but it might not work. That's the reality of it. Even if you're doing a proven recipe, something may fail. I mean, look at how many K-series engines end up windowing the block, and it's the same with anything. K-series, LS, 2J, 1J, 1UZ, like any engine can fail, but this is just an interesting way of doing one of these engines. So hopefully we can get some reliability out of it and have some fun with it. But for now, that's it. thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. The more people see this, the more people it helps, and the more people can enjoy doing the same thing that I do. So guys, see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.